true. Now who said what? Oh, that's so new. Royal voices with the business just for you. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. Listen to Tito. Hey. What is going on, y'all? Yes. Welcome to Royal Voices, episode motherfucking 9. We are in the mix. I am feeling good today. It's a lot of shit going on today. I'm trying to do a lot at once. But we're going to make it work. We're going to make it get done. Because guess what? We're going to get it done, okay? And that's on me. That is on me. Yeah. So, welcome. This is Royal Voices, the official podcast of Kvngdom, a creative hub for music, art, and fashion, a space where we uplift creatives in a variety of ways through education, networking, spotlighting, and a ton of other things. So, y'all, before we get into the episode today, make sure y'all go ahead and follow the brand Kvngdom on Instagram and TikTok at KVNGDOM.co. Again, that is Instagram and TikTok. Follow the podcast, of course, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify if you're looking for the kid there, too. At Royal Voices Podcast, all one word. And of course, last but not least, following your host, the Kid King, that would be me, on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_. And the link to my bio has access to everything else I get involved in. And then lastly, let's get into Kvngdom, y'all. Go ahead and get into Kvngdom. Yeah. Yes, that is Kvngdom. Go ahead and get into Kvngdom, KVNGDOM.com, and go ahead and get y'all some Kvngdom essentials today. You can go ahead and get you some Kvngdom merch. Go get you a hoodie, a t-shirt, a beanie. We're going to be bringing out more stuff for the fall. But go ahead and get you some stuff. Get you that Kvngdom essential right now, only on Kvngdom.com. Okay? So, y'all, as y'all can probably tell, I don't know. I got a lot of giggly energy today. I just feel like a lot of shit is funny. A lot of shit is comical. And I just feel good right now. My allergies are whipping my ass. So if I sound congested, y'all, Mother Nature is in effect. I got my water here. A friend of mine was telling me I shouldn't show the brand of the water that I be drinking. And, I didn't really give a damn. But I guess it makes sense. I be drinking a lot of water. So if anyone want to sponsor the boy, at any water campaigns, let me know. But y'all, we have a nice little show for y'all today. We're going to go ahead and kick everything off with our politics segment as we always do. So let's go ahead and get into the politics. Yes, that was our politics music. So I have to give you a little politics montage to go ahead and get into the politics segment. But y'all, I'm proud of myself and commending myself for continuing this politics segment on the podcast. I'm clapping it up for that, just out the gate. Because if y'all been watching since season 1, y'all will remember I took politics segments out that first season. I took it out after a few episodes in because politics is aggravating as hell. It's stupid. It's idiotic. And now, even with this Trump administration and all that, it's just getting more batshit by the day. I don't know what timeline we on. I don't know what movie script we in. But y'all, it feels so dystopian. And it just is. It's a lot to follow. It can be overwhelming. And the things that are happening in this political space is having real world impacts on people. Right? Like, we're not just talking about these things to be like, oh, Trump and friends are fucking stupid. No, these are things that are actively happening that are impacting people. Right? So if things are actively happening that's impacting people, we need to be aware of what the fuck is going on. And we need to be also willing to stand the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Go get in the mix, get in the field, get involved. You know what I'm saying? It's about that time because it's a lot of shit going on. So first story we're gonna get into. We only got two for today because again, giving it in doses. And the theme here, if you're new to Royal Voice Podcast, before I even get to the second, if you are new here, one thing that we really preach and advocate for is think I'm lying. Nigga, think I'm just making some shit up. Even these articles I'm reading, think that everything I'm saying not even accurate. And that should signal you to go ahead and do what? I'll wait. Google. Right. Yeah. Google. Google's a fucking friend. And I would really encourage y'all to start, reading. Understand what first person sources are, what secondary sources are, what, you get into those mixes. Okay. It's important. Okay. Don't rely on TikTok. Don't rely on Facebook. Go read. Because Google is free. You read. And one last thing before I get into this, because this is going to piss you off too. ChatGPT is not a source. I'm going to say it again for the hoes in the back and the little young motherfuckers who really not getting it. ChatGPT is the Wikipedia of AI. Okay? When I was growing up, I was taught to not go to Wikipedia for reliable information. Why? Because anybody, any mama could go ahead and put information in there. Okay? Wikipedia still has some information that you could use, and it has factual things on it, don't get me wrong, but it's not a reliable source for documentation purposes. Now, this same thing needs to be stated for ChatGPT. I know AI is new, and it's not a lot of regulation around and all that kind of stuff, but AI makes mistakes. If y'all are using ChatGPT, the very bottom of the page says ChatGPT can make mistakes. So please stop and do not take ChatGPT at face value. It's amazingly helpful if you already have a thought, you already have a source, and you need clarification. You need to break things down a little bit better for you to understand it. But when it comes to generating information and getting knowledge and stuff like that, Google, cross-reference. Even the sources you pull up on ChatGPT, read them bitches. Anyway, I'm saying this because this next topic kind of got me in my head a little bit because niggas don't be reading. Trump wants to stop the use of voting machines and mail-in ballots. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. I know it's a thing. I have an article here from Reuters. And again, I do link all of the sources whenever I am reading things down below in the bio. So if you ever need to go read for yourself what I'm reading to you, you can go ahead and find those links below. Now, the headline reads, Trump vows to end use of mail-in ballots ahead of 2026 midterm election. I want y'all to stick that in your head and hold it for a second. The 2026 midterm elections have been a conversation for a few months now, with things you talked about the last episode with the gerrymandering stuff going on in Texas, which we'll get into a little bit later today. But it's just that's a key thing because representatives can lose seats. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. U.S. President Donald Trump pledged on Monday to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots in voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, a move likely to disproportionately favor his Republican Party. Federal elections are administered at the state level. However, and it is unclear if the president has the constitutional power to enact such a measure. Legal challenges by some states are likely. With Democratic voters traditionally more likely to use mail-in ballots than Republicans. I'll say that one more time. With Democratic voters traditionally more likely to use mail-in ballots than Republicans, Trump's pledge is his latest effort to reshape the midterm election battlefield to his party's advantage. He has also urged Republicans in states including Texas and Indiana to redraw congressional districts to increase the likelihood of a candidate from the Republican side being elected. This goes back to the story we talked about last week again with the Democrats leaving Texas to stop gerrymandering. The November 3rd, 2026 elections will be the first nationwide referendum on Trump's domestic and foreign policy since he's returned to power in January. Democrats will be seeking to break Republicans' grip on both the House of Representatives and the Senate to block Trump's domestic agenda. Okay, so I want to encourage y'all because it's a few more paragraphs in this article, so I would encourage you all to go ahead and get into that a bit more deep. But let's go ahead and clap it up for the reading of the article. Yeah. Now, like I said, and even the article talks about this too, on top of the redistricting of maps and stuff in Texas and other states that are Republican-led, Trump and friends are clearly scared of losing their motherfucking seats. They clearly scared of losing them damn seats because this presidency has been a freak show, a mess, a fool of an event. It's interesting, right? It's interesting to see in real time politicians freak out about the shit they've thoughtfully done. You know what I mean? And I think they realize the people collectively, regardless of what you're seeing on news outlets and propagandized things that the White House and Trump and friends put out, is becoming more and more evident. People not only don't like this administration, but don't like the policies and things that they're pushing for, the culture and things that they're cultivating. But now it's a lot of MAGAs. It's a lot of like Republican folks who are flipping out now against Trump because of them damn Epstein files. And that's what I find to be cackling to me. That's the benchmark for y'all. Them Epstein files did it. That was the one I said, I don't know if we can trust this man no more. It's a shift. And, people often say the diehard MAGAs are in a cult. And I think we have to break that down a little bit as far as what people say by cult. I think when people think about cult, they think like people wearing hoods and, sacrificing goats and shit like that. That's a type of cult. But a cult-like mentality really just resorts and comes down to the fact that people are willing to bend reality and play mental gymnastics to support a person or people that logically shouldn't have that and are creating detriment for not only yourself but those around you, right? So when we say stuff like people are in a cult, when y'all don't acknowledge the detriment this administration and this president's having on the economy, when you don't acknowledge the real life, real world impact he's having on people, specifically the lower and middle class, people who are, living paycheck to paycheck, people who are struggling to make ends meet, on top of having health care, on top of making sure their car running, on top of making sure they can get to work in the morning, on top of making sure they can get to education and school and get food in their bellies, on top of all of them things, right? That's what's happening. And when you are a person who can look at these things and somehow, some way, some shape or form, even when it is directly tied to Trump and friends, when you make shit up or distort reality, that's a cult-like mentality. I, again, keep saying on the show, the things that I've heard over this last year of since this election started, since it finished, since it's been progressing with this administration in office, y'all are justifying some of the wildest and craziest shit, right? From rape to misogyny to pedophilia, y'all are justifying a lot of shit. And even though you logically are aware that those things make no sense or that those things are not morally excusable, you're willing to push back against facts. You're willing to reshape reality in your head and make shit up. The same way Trump making up these damn maps. Child. Like, we have never had a president redraw map with the hopes of getting more seats. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's the corruption that's happening in front of our face at this point is really crazy, truly. And the level of corruption is not only so wide, but it's so blatant. It's not even being hidden. It's being discussed in mainstream media. And nobody's really saying anything. Nobody's really saying shit about it. But I do want to, go ahead and reassure a lot of people that mail-in ballots work. Voting machines work, right? Those things are accurate counts of things. Mail-in ballots, you can literally see who votes. It's public information. You can see who votes in which elections. You can't see who voted for who, but you can see who votes. So if you are ever concerned about your ballot, if you're ever concerned about your vote being counted, you can look it up. You can go and start and just verify my shit got submitted, my shit got mailed in, my shit arrived at the damn facility. You can see. So this thought process that they're not reliable is bullshit. And a lot of the Republicans right now are aware consciously they're going to lose their seat because it's been a shit show. I keep saying, well, it's only been a few months. Right. That's the problem. If you acting this wild in these last few months, what the fuck is 3 more years going to be? Oh my God. Oh my God. If this is what we have since January, I can only imagine 2-3 more years. My God. This shit is stupid. And you can tell they're scared because they're trying to change the rules mid-game. You get what I'm saying? In an upcoming event. So this is happening next year. I need y'all to take this to heart and go vote. Get your ass up and go vote. Go vote. I had to grow to give a damn about politics, y'all, because if people who know me, these last few, like people who know me personally for real, these last few years, people have been like, where the fuck did you become this political person? Where did you get all this understanding, this knowledge, this know-how? Google. Reading, watching, listening to podcasts, watching live debates, watching Jubilee. For a little bit, because Jubilee now, I don't know what the fuck going on. But just being attentive to the things around us and going to get more information, to validate what people are saying. Because I've always been raised to question shit. You can't just run shit by Josh. People know that at my job. People know that in my fraternity. People know that in my real life, my social life. People know that. You can't just say shit to me and I'm like, okay. I'm going to usually have something to say. Because what? Make it make sense. And if it makes sense, you got it. I'll let you have it. That is just that. You know what I'm saying? So I would encourage y'all to go vote. Get your ass up. Go vote. Make educated votes. Make educated decisions. Please do not rely on a Facebook post, on a TikTok post to give you everything in and out to know about a person, candidates, policies. Go do your own research. The amount of people who I've heard say Kamala Harris didn't have no plan. The amount of people I've heard say Trump had a strong healthcare plan when he was running for elections. The shit I hear people say today that this man has been doing and hasn't fucking done. It's crazy. And we just need to be more attuned to the world we live in. So if you got a preferred news outlet, go to the counterpart. Go to the preferred one and read the articles. Go to Reuters. Go to PBS. Go to Al Jazeera. Go to all of these NPR. Go to all of these great unbiased spaces to go read and get educated in things. Because that's another thing Republicans get mad about. Democrats and liberals and all these people all these independents like just go get educated. Just go get educated. Yes. Get educated. I had a friend say they weren't clear of what my political positioning was. Y'all, I'm an independent. I think that's something I fall into, where it's like I see on the Republican side sometimes they have good ideas for things, but terrible approaches. Terrible approaches, and a lot of the time moral stances that I do not agree with. The Democrats, similar in some great ideas with a bit more stronger approaches to stuff, but them niggas is soft. Soft as hell. Turn the other cheek. Oh my God, shut up. Swing. Cuss them out. You know what I mean? That's why I like Jasmine Crockett. Y'all call her a hood rat, this, that, and the third. Fuck all that. No, she's just putting pressure on your heels. You get what I'm saying? And I think we are in a space where people are there. Now, don't get me wrong, we have extremists on both sides. There's extremists on both sides. There's extremists in the middle. I ain't gonna hold you. And we have to work collectively to combat extremism. But we have to give and take in order to progress as a society moving forward. And the reason why I'm usually on the Republican heels is because a lot of Republican efforts, energies, beliefs, things that they try to put forward usually hinder society collectively. And that's not me just saying that. You can go review the data. You can go review the data, the numericals behind Republican-led economies, behind Republican-led societies and social programmings, behind Republican leaders and things like that. Y'all can go look at them, look at the demographics. I'm just saying historically. So y'all go vote. Google is free. Be educated. Pick up a book, okay? And don't just take no social media source as your end all be all, because the social media sources y'all be consuming, a lot of y'all fail to realize propaganda fucking works. That's why it exists. A lot of people have been propagandized, and I think people do not like acknowledging that their intellect has been questioned and challenged and manipulated in that way. So they will sit and combat bullshit even when they are being told you are being lied to. You cannot fathom you got. So to stop getting got, go ahead and learn for yourself. Because if you don't learn for yourself, you end up with motherfuckers we have now in people in positions in leadership roles they're not qualified for. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're making shit up as they speak. This is what we have right now. So go ahead and vote, and I'll keep y'all posted about what's to come with the damn efforts of Trump and this executive order he's drafting on up, okay? So, moving right along to our second story of the day. This one comes from Axios, and this ties to the last article I was just reading about Texas House or Democrats, returning back to Texas. I know, I'm aware. I know. I'm gonna go ahead and read this article and then give my 2 cents. Yeah. Texas House makes quorum as Republicans press on with redistricting. The Texas House reached quorum Monday after dozens of Democrats who left the state in protest of a new congressional map returned to Austin. This specifically matters because Texas Republicans are expecting to move quickly to pass the redistricting map that they want to do, which can create as many as 5 additional U.S. House districts favorable to their party before 2026 midterm elections. Democrats who left the state are going to be under watch from the Texas Department of Public Safety. And then a committee on Monday evening approved the new map, and it will go into the full House soon. Now, a lot of folks really felt a way about this development. And I think, like I said, the last episode, the Democrats fleeing to go outside of the state to stop the quorum and to stop their session because no votes could be done. Nothing could be done while the Democrats were gone. That was their attempt to basically block the progression of this. They're now returning, and it's very likely that the Republican drawn map will pass, but it's also very likely that the Democrats will challenge this in a legal pursuit, in a legal battle in court. How that will turn out, we shall see. We will not know until the time comes. I would encourage you to go learn more about what's going on in Texas through that article I just shared and referenced. But I think I'm conflicted. I've come to grips with part of me is an anarchist.
Child. Anyway, so
I think a part of me very much has become, or has been, an anarchist. I think a part of me has always been going against the grain, right? And going against the grain, and if it's not going against the grain, burn this bitch down. Like Joe from Medea, burn this bitch down. But as I gotten older, I've gotten a lot more intelligent and intellectual in the sense of realizing everything that has a problem does not need to be met with destruction. Right? That's not always the first jump up. Like when you arguing with somebody, right? The first thing ain't always to react and smack a motherfucker. That's not how that should go. You should you know what I mean? You should be able to walk away. You should be able to have conversation. You should be able to have dialogue. I do believe at some point in time, depending on how things go and progress and move forward, sometimes motherfuckers do need to get smacked. And it's just that. Sometimes some people just need to get the taste smacked at their mouth. Okay? I'm not advocating for that, but I do recognize sometimes that will get a result. That will get the results you're looking for on both ends. But I think before we, get to fisticuffs, before we get to there, conversations, compromise, things like that can happen prior to avoid those things. And I feel like with this administration and then with the Democrats and with people on both sides, it's been this teeter-tottering thing of like, how should folks react? And I think ever since the January 6th insurrection that Trump was leading, the question of what's acceptable and what's not has been in the air. And I think one big reason why nobody questioned the election results of Donald Trump after the election was because the Democrats didn't want to look hypocritical. That's one. Even though they had a lot of grounds to go ahead and validate those election results, even with Trump himself saying him and Elon Musk rigged the election, people just kind of bypassed it because why? They didn't want to look hypocritical. They didn't want to look like the people that they were talking about. You know what I mean? So that was the thing there. I think the Democrats have been trying to show the way to professionally handle discourse and how to handle disagreements with, political parties and political rivals and things like that. But I think where my issue has been, because I'm all for the peace, keep the peace, all that good shit, yes. But my issue has been when you are trying to negotiate, when you're trying to work with people who do not want to work with you. Right? When it's certain things, like I said on prior episodes, there's certain things where I'm never going to debate you on. I'm never going to sit here and go back and forth with you on, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about should slavery be legal. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about, those moral things. And I feel like this election, this political space right now, had become more morally driven versus political. And it's using policies, it's using the professional approaches to pursue the immoral things white nationalists, white supremacy, and folks who are misogynistic can rally behind. You get what I'm saying? Who are homophobic, transphobic artists can rally behind. And it's being done so in a political way. So then the conversation can be around politics and not the moral basis of what the fuck is actually going on. I'm following? So I need people to understand the intersectionality behind the things people are proposing, the things that are getting legally passed, and what the intention behind these things are. I know folks just want to keep things for face value, tired of this woke shit. Talking about race and gender and all that is not being woke. It's about the reality that disproportionately impacts these communities. In a lot of the ways, legal folks, politicians, administrations, presidents will drive rhetorics that they have personal bias against. So with this redistricting, it's yes, part of it is folks scared of them losing their seats. But on top of that, these things typically disproportionately impact people of color. They disproportionately impact the LGBT community, low-income folks, and that's the strategy behind it. And another layer we have to also keep in mind, too, is elitism. People are capitalistic in nature, and the mindset of rich, poor is real. It's some rich folks who don't give a damn about homeless folks. who don't give a. Have y'all seen the cities where people have been putting spikes on benches so people can't sleep on them, or they're creating ways to strategically remove homeless folks out of areas while at the same time cutting the funding for things people in those predicaments need in order to survive, like healthcare, like access to food and clean water and shelter. You get what I'm saying? The game is usually the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's the saying, right? People don't just wake up to more money. People utilize their friends, their networks, they pull the legal system to accrue those masses. And the more money, and that's why I told to my friend, my LB specifically, I don't believe that there's an ethical billionaire. I believe in capitalism, and I believe it's a thing that people can definitely grow in that space for, but I feel like there needs to be a basis of basic living for everybody to have the basic needs met. You shouldn't have to be worried about food. You shouldn't have to be worried about water. You shouldn't have to be worried about somewhere to live. You shouldn't have to worry about going to school. You shouldn't have to worry about having a job. You shouldn't have to worry about having a car. You know what I mean? Those are basic things. Those are starter packs, nigga, in video games. It's literally, those are starters. Everything you do after that, the kind of car you got, how big your house is, what type of meals you eat in, things like that, that's the privileges, that's the luxuries. But you should be able to get to work. You should be able to eat. You should be able to have water. And when you have people, how I say that, LB, hoarding money, when I say it's people on this planet right now who you could take 1% of their wealth and they could clear out homelessness. They could clear out famines with 1% of their wealth. Money they wouldn't even know was gone. So when you have realities like that, I find it really difficult to have ethical billionaires, because you have to ethically explain to me how you have a 25-bedroom house and that person is sleeping underneath a cardboard box. You get what I'm saying to you? Like, it's a weird thing. So with this comeback to Texas for the Democrats, I'm conflicted, because again, the anarchy in me is like, burn this bitch down, cause chaos. Y'all should have stayed out of Texas. Fuck the decorum. Fuck all of it. But I also realize the logic is like, it can't go on forever, and you have to be more strategic and making an impact in what you're doing. So I don't know. I'm conflicted, but I say these things because I want y'all to understand how critical politics is. And again, I've learned this over the last few years. So I know y'all can learn it too. It's important. And over the next few years, you're going to start seeing your friends impacted by these things. You're going to start seeing your family impacted by these things. You might be impacted by these things. So when your check a little short, when that bill starts to rise, when that item is no longer available, then people are going to question, well, what the hell is going on? These are the things that make those things happen in the future. So be attentive, read, learn, and make sure you're backing up things you can sit with. Because morally, like I said before, morally, it feels like the Republicans are doing everything in a sense to erase the middle class, erase the lower population of the country with people who are poor and things like that. They're trying to funnel all this funding and money up to the top of the top. They're doing a lot of things that are harming people, are unaliving people, are literally making people pass away. And that's where the discourse is coming from. So I understand the politeness and the professionalism, but certain shit crash the fuck out behind. What do you do with people who don't want to talk to you? What do you do with people who are not trying to hear what the fuck you have to say? What do you do with people who morally don't give a fuck about the shit you morally give a fuck about? It's some folks who would rather have you deported, enslaved, or dead. What do you do with that? I ain't got the answer, Sway, but I'm just conflicted. So I'll say Texas. Keep doing your thing. And then shout out to California. Shout out to California. Gavin Newsom. Shout out to California. Shout out to California because Gavin Newsom plays the game. He plays the game. Y'all want to play? Let's play. Y'all call it immature, but y'all send nothing to the president of the United States. Sometimes you got to meet people where they at. But use this always. Always, always. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. Y'all be educated. Google is free. And again, them sources will be down below. So hope you enjoyed today's politics segment. Next up on our agenda, we have Let's Talk About It with King. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, y'all, I try to dispel a lot of disbeliefs on this podcast because probably have me fucked up. So the first thing we're gonna get into today is Cardi B dropped Imaginary Players on Friday. Have y'all had a chance to go ahead and get into that? Yes or no? I went ahead and got to the song. Now, we all know Cardi B is gearing up for her sophomore album, Am I the Drama? I talked about this on previous podcast episodes, so make sure to tune into those to catch that. But yeah, she's getting ready for this Am I the Drama album, I believe coming out either in September or October. I want to say it's September, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it's September, but don't 100% quote me there. But yeah, so she's getting ready for that. She's been putting out songs left and right. The most recent one is called Imaginary Players. I will say, I try to be on it, right? I try to go ahead, get a little list of them before I start seeing social media and stuff like that. Because I've learned over the years when it came to like Nicki, when it came to, Frank Ocean, Lil Wayne, Lotto, Doja Cat, stuff like that. Social media get a grip of new music and will start distorting your view before you even heard the damn song, before you even saw the video, before you even saw the project. So I would encourage people who are music connoisseurs like myself to go ahead and get into those spaces first. Go ahead and review, go listen, go watch for yourself first. Then go ahead and go on Twitter and all that shit to see what everybody else thinking about it, because then you can actively compare and contrast within your own experience and within your own mind versus being on social media seeing, oh, this song is bad or this video is good, and then you go see it, you're like, what the hell? And now you're combating that perception already. So go watch it for yourself first. Go listen for it first. So that's what I did. I saw she had a song out on Spotify. I was on my ones and twos one day, and I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and play it. Now, y'all, I must say, I like the song. I like the song. How y'all feel about it? I like it. I personally, I like the song. The song is nice. The song eats down. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. It does. But this is why I'm conflicted. This is why I'm personally confusing myself right now, because I like the song, but I guess what I'm trying to say, it don't fit her, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel like this is a lane she has or even was comfortable being in, which I believe in artistry you should be explorative in your crafts and your creation and things like that. Try new sounds, try new projects, all that kind of stuff. But it just felt like it wasn't her aesthetic and it didn't fit her. Like, the song is rooted from the 90s era and really samples Jay-Z beats. So it kind of already has this status in hip hop. And I think when you are sampling big beats, when you're sampling especially tracks from back in the day, when you sampling B.I.G., when you sampling Tupac, when you sampling Nas or stuff like that, you have to be attentive to how you come on that bitch, because these records, these projects have already established themselves for what they are. You know what I mean? And I feel like when she got on that track, I liked the song. I just didn't, in a sense, I just didn't like her doing it. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't that she didn't do it well. it just didn't feel like it was her authentic self. It felt more responsive. It felt more, y'all said I can't rap, so I'm finna go rap. Like that's that's what it gave, and it didn't feel authentic to me. Now, I did go ahead after listening to the song. I went to go watch the video. I didn't know a video came out too, so I went to watch the video. And the video, tens across the board. I do. Yes. Yes. It gave the aesthetic of like a Bad Boys, Diddy, throwback Ashanti. It gave me like MTV, just the aesthetic of the video, the fades and transitions between scenes, the vibe of the video gave me mob boss energy. You know, like I'm saying, like my persona of Papi Frio would have. That's what I think about Papi Frio. Like I press a button and dogs run out of this bitch. You finna be running for your life. I do a signal and the whole spot get lit up. You know what I mean? That's what that video gave me. It gave me money. It gave me wealth. It gave me black wealth. It gave me not too much because you will swim with the fishes type energy. It did. It gave me that. But still, it did not feel authentic to her. It didn't feel like it was a lane she even liked being in. But she's trying to get in and trying to fit in because y'all said she can't rap. That's what it gave me. Now she did. She gave some looks in this video. And the like last 2 minutes or maybe the last minute or so of the video, it's like she's doing this montage, this like Met Gala montage of showing showing all these fits. And it's like y'all thought y'all was dressed in. That was the biggest part of her song, I think, in my eyes, was her trying to drive home this fashion take. Because even the beginning of the song comes out like y'all can't dress like me, y'all can't do how I do, y'all don't understand the difference between vintage and what you say, archive or something like that. So it was clearly a fashion focus she had there, but then she had these little digs. She had a few bars, I'm not gonna lie. She had a few bars in that song that took me out. I'm not gonna lie. She said, glory hole. Bitches don't know who they fucking with. Like, stuff like that. I said, all right, you just started. Like, she had some lines in there. I'm like, all right. And it did encourage me to go ahead and see who was behind that pen, because I knew it wasn't her. Just transparency. I knew it wasn't her. But when I went to go see, she had some, heavy hitting people in music on her project. It had a few collaborators and writers who had ties to Bad Boys, who had ties to hits from the 90s and the 80s and stuff like that, early 2000s. I think this was a really good creative piece in the sense of her doing the research, work with the people who kind of know that sound, who know that wave, and have done it well. And I think that was all executed perfectly. It just did not feel like it was her. But let me know what y'all think, and I really do want to know, because I liked the song, and I feel like people, don't always get into those gigs like that. You know what I mean? Like trying new things. Which I'll talk about a little bit later for creative advice today. But she was trying new things. She's trying new things, and I think it was delivered nicely. It was really well put together, really well researched, really executed well. It just did not feel like Cardi B. So take that how y'all will. Let me know how you feel about the video and how you feel about the song. But for me personally, even though I don't feel this was authentically her, it was done well. So for that, I'm gonna give it a King's rule of a yay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a King's rule of a yay for both the video and for the song itself. Let me know what y'all think about it. I did go ahead and do a little post check on the vibe and see what folks was thinking on social media type things. Apparently, this song didn't do well over the weekend. The charts was not fucking with it. Now I do believe it's important to see the impact the artist has on like a debut weekend or something like that. Just like with movies, you should be able to see how fast a song goes to the charts or how fast the album goes, you know, #1, things like that. Just like with the movie industry, you know, opening weekend is a real big deal. How much money you made? How many people want to go see it? All this other stuff. But I feel like with music, sometimes it's not always the best metric to show success. Because I think one thing that gets disregarded a lot is the pull artists have. And now in the world of social media, music is so saturated. Me and my LB was like talking about this. Music is so saturated now. You really can just be a person and find any artist you want because it's so, the barrier of entry is so low. It's not hard to be a musician. You got a phone, you have a camera, you have a mic. Do your thing. You can make a video on your phone. You can make a song on your phone, on an app. And now you're in the music industry. So the bar is low as hell. And when you got people looking at social media for the next wave, the next it thing, and labels are looking at popularity versus talent and authentic craftsmanship, these make all of this shit makes an impact. All of this shit makes an impact. So when you look at the charts of Billboard, when you look at the charts of hip hop and all the other genres and stuff, understand it's more than just the music. And that's the part. It's more than just the music. It's now your aesthetic. It's now your fashion line. It's now your social presence. It's now your engagement in social media trends. It's so many things. Your plays on TikTok. Your plays in streaming. How many motherfuckers actually about TikTok? It's a lot that goes into it. But from the success of this song, it looks like the charts was not agreeing with it. So I have a chart or a news source from hotnewhiphop.com where they talk about Cardi's new song. Last week, Cardi B dropped the 4th single for her eagerly anticipated album, Am I the Drama? But unfortunately, it didn't exactly make a splash on the charts. According to All Hip Hop, it debuted at number 147 on the Spotify US chart and at number 56 on Apple Music. So again, that's just from streams and impacts on a digital level. And you know, I disagree. I don't agree with the placement personally. I understand that may have been what the actuality of those numbers were, but I don't understand it because the song is good. But maybe people felt what I was talking about when it came to the authenticness behind it. And again, the way that pen was pushing, but it was pushing so hard to the point you knew it wasn't Cardi. That's what I have to say. Because it very much was a thing where it was like some of these lines I know you didn't make. I know you didn't make this, bitch. I know you didn't make these because it hit too hard. It drive too hard. But I know you had a hand. You're contributing, and I think for a lot of people that's in the space too. And I think too right now Cardi B got a lot of social shit going on around her with Offset. Allegedly, she pregnant, y'all. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. Allegedly, she dealing with that. She's also in social media stuff with that. Ooh, pick your words. She's she's also in like social media beefs currently right now with Samara. She like I don't know what her title would be. I guess she's an advocate for like big or plus size people, I guess, for plus size folks. And they're go back and forth with that. It's just a lot surrounding Cardi B at this point in time that I feel may have also impacted the music. So I don't know, maybe it's time to get back to the drawing board and finding your authenticity in that space. But to me, I like the song. The song did what it needed to do for me, and I will be playing it again. So that will conclude our topic around Cardi B and her new song. Make sure y'all go ahead and get into the album next month. So, staying around the topic of that music space, Lil Yachty is in the headlines right now too for disrespectful lyrics. So, I'm gonna go ahead and read this article first before I give my 2 cents about this because this is something that I find intriguing. So, Stephen either Steven Jackson or Stephen Jackson, says Lil Yachty apologized for controversial George Floyd lyric. So George Floyd's brother Terrence also called out Lil Yachty for his controversial lyric reference in the new song he teased. So Lil Yachty recently had a in the booth session with the streamer and artist Black Boy Max. He an artist? No shade to the streamers. Anyway, but other narratives quickly popped up to replace those discussions, namely a controversial lyric about George Floyd that Yachty rapped on a new song he teased. So the lyric that Lil Yachty said was, "Put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd." He rapped on the song, which led to a lot of controversy. Stephen Jackson, a friend of Floyd's who grew up with him in Houston's Third Ward, was one of the many who called the Atlanta rapper out online. However, according to Complex, the former NBA player, Stephen Jackson, okay, so he's a former NBA player, took to Instagram on Friday, August 15th, to reveal that Yachty actually reached out to him privately to apologize. He said to all the blogs and shows that are calling him about Lil Yachty and the George Floyd situation, he said, "Some of y'all don't really respect because I never have content." He said, "All y'all do is look for him. Some of y'all do respect what he has and what he has done." And he said he won't be doing any interviews about it. He spoke to Yachty specifically. He's a smart young man. He's winning for a reason. He's a super smart individual. He made a mistake. He apologized and we moved on from it. It's over with. Won't be doing no interviews. He's going to keep winning. He's going to keep doing his thing. We're going to meet up. He made a mistake. Let it go. Stop calling my phone. Let's clap it up for Steven Jackson. He said, "Let's get to it. Wrap it up." Yes. So there's a little bit more about Steven Jackson and George Floyd stuff in that article. So please go ahead and check that out if you are interested in that. First thing I do want to say is I'm glad that these men was able to address the situation and move on, even with the close ties to George Floyd in that space. Now the lyric is distasteful, and specifically to the Black community. And if you Black and you understand, you know, the worldwide spark that situation, that movement caused, that level of sensitivity still while we're in the thick of it, even with Trump and goofy friends, a little insensitive, a little culturally insensitive at this point. I feel like these last few days I've been conflicted because I understand that from a personal lens. I understand that from a space of politeness and kindness and human decency. Now, my confliction, where I'm conflicted, is where hip hop blends in. Disrespectful lines in hip hop have existed for decades, okay? And I mean, people have gotten up on these mics, got on these records and shows and albums, and have said some off the wall shit. Like, truly. That could be just like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I mean? And I think just the nature of hip hop is so gritty, it's so raw, it's so in your face. And it's such a braggadocious type space that people usually resort to disrespect to drive home impact and drive home, you know, lines a little bit harder. You know, I think the intention is usually to drive home punchlines, to drive home bars, to really paint a visual picture a bit more tangibly. And, you know, of course, the disrespect lines becoming, it creates shock value. It definitely creates shock value. When you say some off the wall shit, it creates this like, whoa, who the hell, how could you say that? And, you know, no publicity is Black publicity. So when you have these spaces, you have to navigate those accordingly. Like, but I just feel like there's so many artists who have created songs that's so disrespectful. Like, again, the top disrespectful song in history to me will always be "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac. Because don't nobody open up a song with "That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker." Who talks like that? That is crazy. And then to go on a whole tirade for like 30, 45 seconds at the end of the song, talk about no one of you got sickle cell or something. My 4-4 is going to make sure your kids do not grow. I'm with the 5-5. And I'm with the 5-5, go with the 5-5. Shout out Milwaukee. Hey, that's crazy. That is crazy. Nicki, other one. Like MJ Doctor, you killing me? What? Bitches, Rosa Parks, get your ass up. What? And I will say, I got a few lines on my new music coming out soon. But I got a few lines on my songs coming up soon. It's like, it's disrespectful. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't think that's the intentions. I think people usually are just trying to drive home factors. That line specifically from Yachty, all right, now, because you should have had an A&R producer, somebody around you saying, hey, my nigga, my fellow black man. Maybe let's not talk about, the passing of George Floyd, because that was ridiculous. That's crazy. It's a lot of shit you unpacking with that one. Maybe let's be a little bit more respectful to our community specifically, and maybe shift that a little bit. So, but I'm glad they were able to talk and kind of get that shit squashed out of things like that. I guess the question would become, because I've seen this a lot too with people over the last few years, as the sensitivity behind artistry has become more and more of a focal point, with like word policing, and you can say this, don't say that, or this is ableist and this isn't, or this is disrespectful, this isn't. Is it ever okay? And I just feel like it usually depends who's saying what. It depends who's saying it most of the time, because sometimes people have selective outrage and they don't hold the same standard for others the way that they would for some. So I don't know. That's always going to be a debatable space, because I've heard worse things. The line is distasteful, don't get me wrong, but there's been worse lines. You know what I mean? I just think for that topic and for that to be the punchline, that I would have rewritten that. You know what I mean? Like, you could have had a whole little. It just didn't. Yeah. Um, so with that being said, y'all, I will say today what's going on within the music space, and y'all continue to support artistry, continue to support artists, continue to support quality art, continue to support and stream people's music, go buy them albums, you know what I'm saying, go buy them tour sales, go buy them tour tickets, go buy them merch. Hey, I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but I ain't gonna do that. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there. Now, for our last segment of the day, we're going to go ahead and get into our creative advice, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it. So, how can I take her? I get y'all that song is. But I'm so excited for this new music. Anyway, let's stay on topic. Well, I guess this would kind of go into that too. So today's creative advice is try new things. Right? So this last few years, like I said, like the last 2-3 years, I've been getting out of my comfort zone a lot. I mean, a lot. Professional workspaces to, operating business for Kvngdom, to leadership positions, to traveling, things like that. It's really been uncomfortable in spaces that I've never been in before, or things I've never done before. But through this, I feel like I've been experiencing new things and being in things that's outside of my norm or my comfort zone. Feel like it's been low-key progressing life, like a again, like a video game where it's like you go on to the next level. And I feel like the barrier of entry has been comfortability in trying new things. Like, through these things, I've gotten opportunities. I made new connections with people that I would have never made if I didn't go to that event or didn't say something to that person. I, understand the nervousness behind things and just simply being in a place of unfamiliarity. But I think pushing through that is critical. And I'm saying that because as a whole, as a brand, as an entity, has been on my mind a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And me just as a person have been on my mind a lot, where it's just like, okay, You're getting older. We got this business going on. You got your job going on. What are you doing for your health? What are you doing for mental health? What are you doing for your finance? What are you doing for your family? What are you doing? Like, how are you managing all of these things? Organizing that has been an interesting journey within itself. But for Kvngdom specifically, it's been in my head a lot because I've been thinking about how I want the space to be, how I envision this space to be in the future, how the podcast will look, how the music will operate, how the fashion will operate, the consulting, the education, like all of these things. And just thinking about new ways of going about the show and going about, aspects of this brand that I really find valuable. So like I said on the last episode about the worry of pivoting, right? It definitely plays a role in this because if you are not open to trying new things, you won't pivot. You won't adapt to new spaces. You won't, shift your trajectory. And I think it's just very, very important to do so. And I've been growing to understand that because again, upon reflection, you start progressing more as a person, elevating more as a person when you get out your bubble, out your comfort space, and do things that, may make you uncomfortable, may make you feel worried or nervous or scared or whatever the fuck. But because you're trying those things and you're pushing those things forward, you don't know how those things are going to come about. You don't know how those things are going to succeed. And you don't know necessarily how far those things can go. So I understand the worry and pushing through, but it's such a wide range of possibility if you do. You know what I mean? So step it outside of your bubble, outside of your comfort zone, and try new things. Like I'm doing the same thing with the before the podcast. This show will be changing again, and I have to be comfortable with that. Even though I found consistency in the segments and things that we're doing here, but I always want to just be adding new things. I always, even now, I'm thinking of ways I could add in that. I could add that sound in, or I could do this and I could do that. And I just feel like sometimes I want to add in so much that nothing gets established. You know what I mean? I feel like people are sometimes I try to do too many things at once, or try to engage in so many things at once that nothing really has foundation. So I'm glad the podcast has this foundation where it's like, okay, you're gonna get some politics, you're gonna get some creative advice, you're gonna get, what I'm saying, a little bit of little messy tea here and there. You're gonna have some artist spotlight, you're gonna get into these things. But now it's about, how do I deliver that? How do I structure that in a way that creates an amazing podcast episode? But how do I do it in a way that also makes a dramatic impact for the artists that I have on for Artist Spotlight? How can I deliver it in a way that makes it engaging, that makes it, resonate with other people when they're tuning in, and things like that? Things like that have always been hard to navigate. And there's no perfect time of when to implement those things, but you have to be open to even trying those new things. So that's what I'm going to remain doing for this space. I'm going to encourage you all to do, is to try new things. Even when I'm doing it in my music, I'm so excited for this new thing. And I'm gonna say it here first, because where the fuck else? I will be putting out music, and yeah. Yes. Honestly, truly. I will be putting out a project this October called Scary Hours. So I'm gonna, do a little rollout for that. And we'll have a single dropping soon. But in October, it's gonna be a project coming out called Scary Hours. And in that project, I'm so excited about it because it's different. It's different. And it's different for me. It's different how I'm approaching it. It's so fun to see the growth, to see the enhancements around how I approach music, how I, deliver punchlines, the vocal range I have. You know what I mean? The balance and intertwinedness between hip hop and melodic music, and it's I don't know, it's scary hours. It's scary hours, and I feel like that time, especially being in October, one big piece of that project, why I called it Scary Hours and put it out in October, it's because I feel like I'm putting on these aesthetics and these styles and these approaches to like costumes, like Halloween costumes, and it's giving, oh girl, that's scary. Oh, that's real. Okay. That's real attentive. Okay, you politically aligned now. Oh, now you trying to be funny. Like, you know what I mean? It gives the range like a costume store, and I'm trying on all these different things, and the project itself is coming together so nicely, and I'm just excited. I really am. But it's that nervousness of like, this is new for me, so the sound may not be what people expect. The grit, the like, I talk my shit, like, y'all, it's another thing too, where it's like what I'm trying to say, the demeanor I give off naturally, and then to hear that project is like, whoa. It's like, whoa. But I feel like that for all my music. I feel like it's like that for all my music, which I compartmentalize my personas in that sense, with Jay the Don, Poppy Fio, Gaheen, you know what I'm saying? Getting into those spaces has a time and place, and I just feel like I'm excited for y'all to hear this project. But like I said before, trying new things is what created that project. It's what's created. Ooh, I'm saying too much. I'm saying too much. But trying new things has really, really strong impacts. And the minute you can push past that uncomfortableness, that worry, that doubt, that's the what I usually give people. People don't really be scared. People don't really be nervous. People be scared of themselves. And shout out to Amos. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not the dark, that scares us. It's our light. And I think people sometimes will downplay themselves, will, put themselves in a box, thus blocking the opportunities for them to try new things. So get out of your own way, get out of your own head, first and foremost, and realize you got life to live. Try some shit, because you could live and lead a very boring, non-eventful type of existence by sticking to your routine you developed for yourself. So try new things. And you never know how far those things will go. You never know how impactful for the positive these trying new things can be. Be smart, be safe. Don't just go out there, doing dumb shit just for the sake of trying new shit. No. be attentive. But, try going for that job. Try doing that business opportunity. Try talking to that person. Send that text. Try new things, because you never know, again, the impact that they will have. And again, if you pushing through those things, I feel like those experiences are usually needed. Trying new things are usually needed for the progression of your life and towards the goals and things that you have envisioned for yourself. So try new things. Okay? That's creative advice for the day. So y'all, this comes to a close. Season 2, episode 9 of Royal Voices motherfucking podcast. Yeah. Yes, sir. Y'all, I am again just so excited about all the things coming down the pipeline. I'm so excited for just the consistency I've been having. And the next episode will be episode 10, which is crazy because it's like we are in July. August? We in August. That's how you know I'm just moving around. We are in August. And to have these episodes coming out bi-weekly consistently, I ain't missed one yet. Okay, and I'm clapping it up for. I've been staring on it. Okay, and having artist spotlight. Moving forward, I am going to restructure this space. Like I said before, the last episode. The last episode was noticed. This episode, I'm just reminding y'all. Future episodes will look different. Okay, will be a little bit different. Probably not the very next episode, but as we kind of go towards the end of the year and going towards season 3, because we're going to be back. Yeah. it's going to be continuously adding and growing. I just hope that y'all stay with the journey. I hope y'all stay with the kid, you know, along the way. And I hope y'all continue to enjoy, share, clip, snippets. I gotta get on my P's and Q's with the marketing. I really do. I really do. I be on it a little bit, but I gotta get in my bag for real. I just be trying to do too much, and I think I'm at a point where I need to hire people. And I said that last episode too. That's where I think I messed. I am putting together a hire plan, you know, for what I really want to have additional support with, and how that will look for this space. And as we continue to grow, I'm gonna keep documenting these things. Okay, so stay locked in. Follow us on the Instagrams and TikToks and social medias all together. So for Kvngdom, it is KVNGDOM.co on Instagram and TikTok. Follow the podcast as well, Royal Voices Podcast, all one word, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify as well. And then follow the kid, your host, on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_. And the link to my bio will have access to everything else I'll be involved in, including links to my music. It's only right out in stores and everywhere that you stream music at right now. And of course, Kvngdom. Kvngdom.com, KVNGDOM.com. Go ahead and get you some Kvngdom essentials. Okay, go treat the merch, because when the things drop, okay, I don't know how long it's gonna be there. Okay, so because some things coming, so go ahead and get into y'all drip while you get the chance to do so. And thank y'all for just rocking with the kid and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. Lastly, I'm seeing these links on my screen right now. I'm putting these links down below. Okay, so when you're watching the show and tuning in, go ahead and click them links in the bio, because it'll give you more education behind what the hell I'm talking about. So if you ever watching the show and you're like, I ain't never heard that one, here's the source. Okay, and let's just get comfortable in that. I really want to drive that home. I really, because that's been getting under my skin real bad. People talking about shit they don't know, they don't understand, and this is crazy to me. So be knowledgeable. If you have an opinion, have a reason as to why you have the opinion. Just saying simply, that's my opinion, don't mean shit. Okay, I could tell a mechanic, hey, you're supposed to put ketchup in a gasoline container and put that into the car. The mechanic could say, why you think that? I could say, it's just my opinion. It don't make it right. Okay, so let's get locked in with that. Real bad. But with all that being said, because I'm just talking at this point, thank y'all for tuning in to today's episode. And remember, we reign forever. Y'all have a good one.